Okay, second time recording the intro because I cursed too early the first time. I think too early. I gotta try not to curse for the first 30 seconds or something like that. Not because I'm making money. I don't monetize. I can't monetize anything yet. Like I can't. But I also don't want the algorithm to be messing me up. Let me use the word messing me up. Right? I should maybe put that in my bio somewhere that I end up cursing a lot, just in case people don't know. Because I mean, we're here for educational content. We're here to learn. But it's also like, I gotta get my own bit in there. I gotta get my own pizzazz. Did I say pizzazz? I didn't mean to say that. Forget I ever said that. But I gotta, I gotta give me. I gotta give you a bit of me, and what that entails, and what that brings, and what that involves is me being genuine and me being myself, and speaking the way that I would speak to any person, and speaking the way I speak. Right? I mean, I can't fake speech, so you'll end up hearing me cursing. I'm gonna try not to do it too early on, just in case that might be messing up the algorithm or something. I don't know. You know how you guys know how YouTube be, but let's not make this a long intro, man. It's kind of a decently long video. Let's not make this any longer than it has to be. We're already up 1 minute. This is the first inaugural video from Second Thought on here. I was actually gonna fall asleep, go to sleep, I should say, and not actually record another one. But fuck it. This one intrigued me. Is the U.S. becoming a dystopia? That I like that title. Let's see. Let's see if it indeed is. I mean, it just depends on your perspective on it. Let's see.
This episode and others like it are made possible by the generous support of my patrons on Patreon.
Every time I watch one of these, I just, oh my god, I want to make money somehow, and I just do this for fun, but I need to make money. I'm broke. Like, I can't get a Patreon for a Reacts channel. I don't even think fucking
help support my channel and get early access to every video,
shit.
Consider becoming a patron at patreon.com.
It's so good that Patreon is a thing and that people can support this content, man, because, like, some of these people, they would just be making crazy content, It's just, like, for this channel, for a Reacts channel, right, if I'm not getting copyright claimed, because I've been copyright claimed in a few videos, like, if I were to make money, it'd just be ads. It'd just be ads. I wouldn't ask for donations, right? Because, I mean, this isn't my content. You have to be self-aware at some point of what you're doing, right? You want to provide a bonus. It's an extra. It's not like I'm not providing crazy content like them. I mean, I'm sure they have probably, like, a whole group of people. They have a whole, team working on these videos. But, I mean, shit, fuck it. We provide this. Watch this with me, right? I'm not going to say it every video, but I've been saying it in every video today. This is what the reaction is for, right? Let's watch this together. I feel like there's somebody there watching it with you. Maybe, hopefully, you don't think that I'm annoying because I paused it a little bit. You don't want to be there watching it with a guy who's just constantly pausing or constantly talking over it either. But, I also gotta give a bit of me, right? Otherwise, I'm just completely, like, if I'm just sitting here quiet, not saying anything, then what's really the point, right? Like, so.
.com/second thought. Once upon a time, the human race had a dream.
Yes,
a vision of the future where we had evolved beyond our petty military conflicts, where every human was guaranteed equal rights.
Oh,
where
that sounds
time
awesome.
to spend with friends and family, to pursue hobbies and trades, and to do meaningful work that we enjoyed, not because we had to, but because tedious, unpleasant labor had been handed off to automated systems, leaving humans the time to...
This is what I say. This is what I always say. This is my utopia. I dream of this. Oh shit! I didn't know motherfuckers as a whole were having that dream too. That was my vision. Like, we delegate the shitty shits to the robots, and we can go and do the stuff that we really love to do. And I mean, people could probably do that apart from their job too. I mean, that's what's great about it. You could do what you love. It's just a lot of times it's not gonna be your job, and your job is taking up like 8 hours of your day. So, if for 8 hours of your day you're doing something you really dislike and you're only doing it to have money to be able to afford your bills, and you're working paycheck to paycheck and only living for the weekend, it's like, it's not looking good, bruv.
To just live, to really experience what life is all about. As we approach the year 2022, I think it's safe to say that vision is no closer today than it was 100 years ago. In fact, the consensus seems to have shifted away from this utopian vision of the future, and...
That's me. I couldn't handle a $500 surprise bill. Are you fucking kidding me? I couldn't fucking handle that shit. You see how expensive everything is? Everything's going up in price. But what they pay you ain't going up, though. The salary ain't going up, though. We're in some crazy financial times. Crazy.
Towards something much less pleasant. In this episode, we're going to attempt to analyze some trends in the United States as we creep ever closer to techno.
Yeah, but what's a trend though? Because we have technology, we have we have cameras everywhere. Of course, you're gonna see discrepancy. You're gonna see shit that's super fucking rare that it barely ever happens. It's just because everybody has a camera, and then when motherfuckers have cameras, and then they post this shit, these complete oddities, complete like black swan events, right? That never happen. Biases come in when you see it, and you're just like, whoa, I've seen a video of it, this must happen all the time. Like, no, it's very rare. Like, but I mean, shitty shit does happen. You can't expect it to be perfect. I don't know, but I guess it could be better for how it is going right now.
Dystopia. There's a trend in modern entertainment. We used to see a lot of optimistic movies and TV shows, where the future was depicted as bright, happy, and peaceful.
Elysium?
There were exceptions, of course, but the general feeling towards the far future was one of hope. These days, that's no longer the case. Scroll through any list of movies and TV, and you'll notice a pattern. Just about every bit of media dealing with the future now has a decidedly pessimistic tone. The Hunger Games, The Maze Runner, Divergent, Oblivion, Altered Carbon, Snowpiercer, The Expanse. Even kid-friendly movies.
Did they really? But that's WALL-E.
Like WALL-E have a deeply dystopian undertone.
Yeah, but they've always had that. That's always been what sci-fi has been about. It's just because we humans are negative. We have a tendency to think about negative things. We have a bias towards negative things. Like, of course, sci-fi is going to be mostly negative because we're making negative predictions. We're making... Like, come on. Of course.
What's behind this trend? Well, if you take a look around, it shouldn't be hard to find the catalyst. People today are more unsure about the future than at perhaps any point in modern history. Every day we wake up and there's a new catastrophe.
Have we ever been?
Massive wildfires, record-breaking heat waves, disappearing glaciers, melting permafrost, political instability, new diseases.
It's just because people expect things to stay the same, like order is guaranteed. We live in an entropy universe, bro. You have to be anti-fragile. You have to be able to thrive in the midst of chaos, which is super easier said than done. Trust me, because I mean, I ain't talking about like bullets flying all over the place. Like I ain't really thriving in that kind of situation. I'm saying like just unforeseen events that, I mean, shit. As long as you can, you cool and you alive and all, your shit ain't incredibly being threatened. Which, I mean, financial problems might threaten your ability to get food, but like that's, like you have to be able to adapt, and not just expect things. Like, of course, it'd be nice if we could have as much order as possible. That's what we're trying to do, but understand it's not really how that works, right? Like,
people are afraid, and one way we like to cope with our fear and uncertainty is by turning off and watching a movie. Dystopian fiction is increasingly common these days for a couple of reasons. First, it's weirdly comforting. We can watch Snowpiercer and say, well, at least my life isn't that bad. Another reason is that film and television offer us a way to engage with modern problems in a way that feels less traumatic. We can watch Altered Carbon, recognize the problems that mirror those in our own time, and come away thinking, yeah, rapidly increasing inequality is a problem we need to address. It's a more pleasant experience than watching a documentary about collapsing ecosystems and runaway climate change. But it brings those same issues to mind. People like to relate to what they're watching, even if the subject matter is unpleasant. In a way, dystopian fiction performs a useful service in this regard. People who would otherwise ignore the news and the challenges we face are forced to see the similarities between these fictional worlds and the one we inhabit. But simply recognizing the problems doesn't do much except make the average person miserable. We often feel powerless in the face of monstrous crises like climate change and inequality that exceeds that of the Gilded Age, but we're not as helpless as we might feel. We'll get to that a bit later, but first, we need to take a look at where the U.S.
Oh my god, I say this every time, bro. I say this every time.
We'll get to that a bit later.
Every time I see his fucking face. No, I look, I hate to be that. Look, I know, you know me. You should know this about me. You should know this. I don't judge people, okay? Look, looks, I'm the last guy to say something about somebody's physical appearance, right? Like, motherfuckers don't get to choose that shit, especially the face area, right? But because you're Jeffrey fucking Bezos, just because you're the richest man in the world, for some reason, I feel like I have a right. I feel like I can get laid off, right? Like I can get an excuse, a pass to go in on your fucking ugly ass mug, bro. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I don't know if it's just because you're rich. Like, look, I'm not even envious, like, that jealous of somebody who's that rich. Like, I'm cool and I'm fine. Of course, I don't want to be broke. I don't need to be Jeff Bezos. I don't aspire to be Jeff Bezos. I don't want to be that rich. If I was that rich, I'd give all the money away anyway, because I know how good I'd be with money. Would I really, though? Would I really be? I'd hope so, right? But look, money changes people, and I don't know. I'd love to say that it couldn't change me because I know myself and I know how grounded I am and how down to earth and solid. But I guess I couldn't say that, right? Because, well, stats show. But I would say, yeah, I know what I would do. But, I mean, that's super hypothetical, right? Like, 200 billion? Jesus Christ. Yeah, I just want to deck this guy. I just want to, like, fucking shit out this guy.
But first, we need to take a look at where the US stands on the Dystopia timeline.
Come on, dog. Come on, dog.
Okay, picture a generic near-future dystopia. What do you see? Grimy cities, pollution, crushing poverty juxtaposed against glistening neon towers, and usually a handful of massive, all-powerful corporations running the show.
It seems kind of beautiful, though. I don't know why I like that aesthetic. I really like that aesthetic. Like, futuristic buildings. It's just something I like. I really like the aesthetic. It calls to me. Because I've seen it everywhere now. I've seen it in Black Ops 2, Advanced Warfare, Infinite Warfare. I mean, the future. I see it all over popular media, culture, whatever. Not culture, but like media. And I like it. Like, ever since playing Watch Dogs, like that, it seems so cool, that tech world. It seems cool, but people only focus on the negatives. To me, for some reason, I just think of it as being cool. I think it's so cool. It's fucking dope. But, like, as I would never expect, of course it's not perfect. Of course not.
That description may already be ringing alarm bells in your head, but let's break it down a bit. Good dystopian fiction usually relies on a handful of tropes. Some kind of environmental collapse, absurd levels of wealth inequality, and powerful technocrats ruining lives and often the planet to fund their empire and their megalomania. Let's evaluate the United States based on these three factors.
Oh shit.
We'll start with environmental issues. Unless you've been living under a rock, you know by now that climate change is happening, and it's not looking good. The fallout from the rapid warming, caused mainly by human activity, will be severe, and it's already begun. As of writing this script, Greece has been burning for over a week and is showing no signs of stopping. Thousands of people have had to evacuate under red skies,
Greece.
blistering heat, and suffocating smoke.
I don't even
Other
remember
countries
this.
face similar conditions, as we saw in Australia not too long ago.
I do remember
Coastal
Australia,
regions
of course.
face unprecedented flooding, as I saw firsthand while shooting a documentary in the Marshall Islands. We're beginning to see the first climate refugees as entire regions become uninhabitable. The IPCC, an international group at the forefront of climate research, has just put out their most recent paper, and it's shocking. You may be thinking, yeah, I've heard this before. It's true. The entire scientific community has been begging policymakers to listen for decades. But guess what? It's looking like it's too late. The new report is full of data that even the experts didn't expect, at least not so soon. Glaciers are melting at rates that should be happening at higher levels of warming. Permafrost is melting at rates climate scientists didn't expect we'd see for another 70 years. Flooding exceeds expectations, as do droughts, wildfires, and extreme weather. The bottom line is that 1.5 degrees of warming, which has been the number scientists have urged us to try to stay below, is going to produce consequences that look more like 3 degrees of warming. The climate crisis is accelerating.
When I hear 3 degrees, I think you tell that to a regular person, and they're not going to think that's anything. But, like, because when I think 3 degrees, I don't know if I just called myself a regular person, because but, like, I think 3 degrees, right? You'd think it's not. But, of course, I know, and I understand, like, that's on average everywhere. Like, it doesn't sound like much, but I need to see it. Like, I don't want to see it, but, like, I need to see what that change does. Because, like, 3, it doesn't sound like anything crazy. You're just like, 3 degrees, like, on average, it'd be 91, then it'd be 94. Like, is that really gonna do that much? And well, on a global scale, yeah, it really is, right? Because shit is melting, and it's like fuck. I mean, I think maybe that would have happened on its own over time, of course, but it is definitely happening a lot more rapid now than it should be, right? And it's just like, well, we're gonna have to have a plan. We need a plan. We need to unite, man. You know, like a. I don't even want to say shit, bro, because it just sounds like. It just sounds like everybody else's like ideas, man. Nothing great or amazing ever gets tried out. Nothing ever gets into play or motion. You're just speaking for no reason at that point, bro. I'm thinking about, universal basic income, let's relocate people to a better place and all this, and it's just like, well, no, we don't have enough people working on that. Not enough people care, so.
No longer ignore the fallout. It's only going to get worse. Now, it's only dystopian if we refuse to adapt and mitigate the fallout, right? Surely world leaders are working tirelessly to solve the problem. Come on, you should know better than that. Without fail, world leaders are refusing to take sufficiently radical steps to stave off the worst effects of climate change. In fact, here in the US, the current administration is carrying on with business as usual, while Republicans will openly deny climate change to muddy the waters and keep their corporate donors happy. Plenty of well-meaning Americans believe the Democrats actually care. They do not. While they pay lip service to long-established science, the Democrats are beholden to the same corporate interests as their more repugnant colleagues. For example, Biden recently said, "We can't wait to tackle the climate crisis. The signs are unmistakable, the science is undeniable, and the cost of inaction keeps mounting." That's nice. And yet, approvals for oil drilling are on track to reach their highest level since George W. Bush was president. A politician's words don't mean anything if they constantly act in a way that contradicts their flowery language. The situation is pretty grim. Politicians understand this.
We're gonna get to a point, bro, where you're gonna give rich people an ultimatum, and you mark my words. You know how bad, the one thing that's going to stop the greed and all of this is you tell these people who are rapidly getting old. I mean, look at this guy. How old is this guy? Look at Biden. Look at Sleepy Joe Biden. That man is just waiting to roll over and fall into a grave. But, fool, mark my words, this is how it's going to go down. These motherfuckers who obviously have, just on the video we watched just a few videos ago, couple videos ago on terror management. Think about that, right? Like, everything we do is driven by that need or that want to mitigate death, right? To stop death from happening, because we want to deny it. We want not think about it. We don't want it to happen. Everybody's trying to stop death, right? Well, it's like technology's working on that. So probably something that's going to happen is going to be like, well, we'll make you symbiotic. We'll hook you up to a machine. We'll make you a robot. We'll make you a cyborg. We'll do something. Right? Eventually. Don't know if they're going to fix the consciousness problem. I don't know how it would work. But they're going to tell people, look, in some way, somehow, maybe we can keep you alive. I think you're going to have to take away some of the people's, stupid primal nature. You want to fix all this? We need people who are just not so primal, right? It's just so stupid. You see the primalness everywhere I look, in any person with power or leadership ever. There's just greed problems. There's just power hungry problems, greed problems. How do they not fail? How does it fail without end? I mean, how does it not fail, right? How does it succeed with no end to get everybody who's ever been in power? Not everybody, but it's just look at this. Everybody who stays in power, that's how you know, the universe, there's no law governing this, right? These people are the law. Look how shitty they are. Look how much they just don't give a fuck. That's how you know, man. This shit ain't fair. Ain't nothing meant to be fair. We have to make that for ourselves. We want to see and live in a world where we conceptualize as fair. Well, we have to do something. We have to be the ones to fucking do it. Ain't nobody gonna do it for us, man. Look at this fucker. I don't even know if this guy's a good dude. He might actually be a good dude, actually looking for change. I probably shouldn't be calling him fucker. He might be one of the good guys. But, it's just like, you're going to give him that ultimatum. It's just like, well, we can hook you up to this over here, but we might be able to control you or something. Or you might, like, or something, right? And it's just like, they're going to try to take away their primal nature, which I'd honestly be all for it. Like, is it going to make the world a better place? If you could just take away the greed from these fuckers. If you could just take away their... Oh, it's so stupid. It just hurts my head sometimes. I'm not pausing it anymore. Holy shit.
But they are invested, often literally, in the preservation of the status quo which benefits them and the rest of the rich and powerful. Read the IPCC report for yourself. I've left a link in the description. Voting for the less awful presidential candidate isn't enough anymore.
Less awful. It's always how it's always been. It's always going to be less awful.
When I first started EVE, I was a minor. And I was really...
A minor? Anyway. Like, what I was just trying to say is... They're going to hook them up to a machine or something. They're going to become symbiotic. But they might lose some of their human nature. Right? And in doing that, maybe we can finally have a place where the people in power... Maybe they could be less greedy. Maybe, just maybe. Right? Like, they're just, oh my god. I just want to smack people, bro. I just wish I had the power to just smack them. Smack them all. I just want to smack them silly. I swear to God.
While climate change is definitely the most pressing issue facing our species, and many other
Such
species,
dumb fucks.
dystopian fiction often focuses on smaller-scale, human-centric problems. One of the most quintessential of these is the issue of rampant inequality, the wealthy looking down on the unwashed masses from their glittering towers. In Altered Carbon, the rich have found a way to essentially become immortal, the final hurdle for the elite, while the poor are left to suffer and die far below the cloud-top utopias of society's upper crust. The quest for immortality is something that our own billionaires are absolutely pursuing. There's one startup which offers plasma transfusions from the blood of young people in an effort to slow the aging process. Some of the more dedicated elite, like PayPal founder Peter Thiel, routinely spend $40,000 per quarter for blood transfusions from 18-year-olds. We also have the absurdly wealthy going on little joyrides to space, just because they feel like it. Jeff Bezos spent $5.5 billion to spend 11 minutes as far above the poor people as he could possibly get. Meanwhile, his workers, who do the actual labor, are above the poor people as he could possibly get. Meanwhile, his workers, who do 11 minutes as far...
Yo, I love that. I love the writing on that. I love the writing on that. Just so he could get as far away from the poor people as possible. Oh my god. That is so awesome.
Far above the poor people as he could possibly get. Meanwhile, his workers, who do the actual labor that produces Amazon's profits, face some of the most inhumane conditions in the country. To get a sense of just how absurdly rich these people are, consider this. There was one open seat on the flight. The person who had the winning bid, nearly $28 million, canceled because of a scheduling conflict. Can you imagine that? Sorry, can't make it to my $28 million space flight, something came up. Bezos has long been the subject of intense criticism. Did
they refund him the money? So this man just lost 28 mil. Like, don't tell me he just lost 28 million like that. And he just, like, yeah. That puts into perspective, doesn't it? It's not like I want that money. It's just the fact that somebody has that money while there's somebody. It's like Tupac said, bro. Why do you need a house with 73 rooms when there's a man with no room, when there's a man with no roof, no house, no shelter? Why do you... If only we all thought the same, right? If only we all were... That's why I tell you, man. Only the wrong people get rich out here, man. And only the wrong people. Why is that such a thing? It just seems like you have to be such a shitter to get rich. Or to get this rich. Or maybe getting rich makes you the shitter. I don't know. They just fucking suck. 73 rooms when there's a man with no room. Tell him again, Tupac.
Bezos has long been the subject of intense criticism from the left. But he's really done it now. Even older, more conservative people saw this little stunt as an obscene waste of money. In a way, I'm glad it happened. It is nearly impossible for people to understand just how much money our modern-day robber barons have hoarded. Watching Jeff Bezos blow $5.5 billion on an 11-minute joyride helps put it in perspective. That $5.5 billion doesn't even put a dent in his wealth. While it's easy to point at the richest handful of people on Earth and say, bad, there is still tremendous inequality several rungs below them.
Yeah.
For example, Jamel Brown, a hospital janitor in Missouri, was awarded Employee of the Month after contracting COVID trying to keep other people safe. For his efforts, he was given a $6 voucher to the hospital cafeteria. Meanwhile, the CEO, who has likely never set foot on the premises, got a 13% raise to $30.5 million. This executive receives 1,000 times the compensation of workers society called essential for 6 months and then cast aside. Jamel Brown, once considered an essential worker, can't afford his own apartment and hasn't gotten a raise in 2 years.
Yeah, because everything is being raised, the prices of everything is being raised, and salaries aren't being raised, and we're working off a system that was based off of feudalism. It's just the best version of feudalism ever made. Because motherfuckers, we don't have, like, thinkers who sit down and think of new possible systems, which is something I always wondered. Like, is that, like, something I've said before, is the systems we have the only possible systems there possibly could be? Like, could there only ever be two wings? Could there only ever be a left and a right? Could there be a north wing? Could there be a south wing? Could we figure something else out? Like, is it just socialism and capitalism? Are those the two only possible options? Or where's the people sitting down with in a think tank, and like, you know, debating this stuff? Where are, you know, the old Stoic thinkers at when you really need them, man? Where they would just sit there and have debates about, you know, ontological questions. What is living? What is life? Does it mean to be human? What does it mean to be a dog? It's just like, where are the people that just sit down and just don't think about it nowadays, man? Like, maybe we could, well, even if they did, there's probably no point. You're not changing capitalism here. But maybe you could do it somewhere else, right? I mean, it's too deep. You're not changing it. You can't change something that fundamental. It's too deep. I'm not making America uncapitalist. I'll never see the day. I'm telling you right now, I will never see the day. And as long as it's always going to be like that, well, there's always going to be problems when you're working with such a flawed system. But I guess, I mean, people are okay with believing that it's the best system we have. I mean, hey, it might be. But it seems to me like nobody's trying to figure out anything else, so.
Absurd, offensive stories like these really help to drive the point home for average Americans. Our lives continue to get worse, while the already rich continue to get richer. Here's another example. Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager, went on the record to say that Americans will have to work longer and make risky investments in order to retire. People like Fink are the same ones who say the economy is doing great, and anyone who works hard can succeed. Yet here he is with a tacit admission that people can't get by on the same number of years of work as their parents or grandparents. People in today's job market simply aren't paid enough money to save for retirement. But if you want to get really dystopian, let's take a look at how the state treats its least fortunate. This video was taken in Venice Beach. Here you can see a few people in a makeshift shelter, not bothering anyone, with nowhere else to go, being forcibly evicted by police armed with assault rifles. As the country faces a wave of evictions unlike anything we've ever seen, remember this video. This is how the homeless are treated. Over 30 million Americans are facing homelessness because their savings were destroyed by the pandemic. 30 million. Inequality in the United States now exceeds even that of the Gilded Age, the most extreme disparity in the country's history. With every crisis, the rich get richer, those who consider themselves middle class lose everything, and the poor fall deeper and deeper into crushing poverty.
What do I want? I want to know myself. And
then when a society, as that one person wrote, can't quote it, but I heard it somewhere on a Joe Rogan podcast. When society is about to collapse or something, and it's at its final stages, people get obsessed with gender. That's what I heard. People become obsessed with the topic of gender. They become obsessed with everything. They become obsessed with all types of... I don't know if the problem is social issues, because I mean, social issues is a thing, right? Like, you want to make everything as you know. I love diversity. Diversity is good for any system, and also fairness and connections, right? So it's just like, let's make things diverse. But you do notice that, don't you? People are obsessed with gender and making everything about men this, women that. It's just like, well, you know, there's also the idealization that maybe we could just love each other and get along and just listen. Not the world we live in. I hate the fact that I can idealize, but it's supposed to serve a purpose, no? Like, we're supposed to be able to work. That's the whole point of it. That's the function, is to be able to work towards that which we idealize, but nobody's working towards anything that they idealize.
The final trope in our dystopia comparison is the ever-present hand of the technocrats and the giant corporations. I think it should go without saying that this country is run by corporations in all but name. Why haven't we acted on climate change? Because Exxon has lobbied against it for decades, despite being among the first ones to realize their activity would cause problems down the line. They fund both parties. So does the military-industrial complex, companies like Lockheed, Boeing, and Raytheon. Why do you think we're always involved in low-level wars? It's absurdly profitable for these companies. Why don't we have universal healthcare like every other industrialized nation? Because the insurance and pharmaceutical companies make massive donations to both Republicans and Democrats. Then you've got the mega corporations like Amazon, Google, and Disney. Want to buy something? Amazon has it cheaper. Streaming video? Amazon has it. Delivery? Amazon. Groceries? Amazon. Spaceflight? Apparently, if you have $28 million. Disney is slowly consuming all other media companies and IPs. Google dominates web traffic. This country is run by corporations, and they want to make sure it stays that way. But let's talk about the really dystopian stuff. There's a Nevada bill up for consideration that would allow tech companies to create their own cities, complete with governments, the right to develop their own taxation, and essentially equal power to traditional counties. That's exactly as terrifying as it sounds. Your job would have complete control over your life, determining what you can and can't do, how little they're allowed to pay you, how much you owe them in taxes. We have this weird fixation on the private sector, especially tech, in the US, and it's going to get us into real trouble. So-called industry leaders like Bill Gates also enjoy essentially limitless positive press for even their most alarming projects. For example, Gates wants to shoot dust into the atmosphere to block the sun. If that sounds familiar, well, it just so happens to be the catalyst for one of our dystopias in the US, and it's going to get us into real trouble. So-called industry leader farming project. If that sounds familiar, well, it just so happens to be the catalyst for one of our dystopian movies.
This video is so great, man. The way he just fucking just so nonchalantly says it. Oh, he wants to shoot dust into the sky to block out the sun. You know, just a casual Tuesday in 2022.
Then there's every internet dweeb's favorite oligarch, Elon Musk. Neuralink,
the company
Elon. Determined to put a computer chip
biased.
in your brain, will be starting human trials in the very near future. And Musk has just announced
He's
that
a
SpaceX
fucking tech nerd. I'll let him get away with it. Personally.
will launch a satellite into space with the purpose of displaying advertisements. Any interested parties will be able to buy ad space with crypto. Soon, even the night sky will not offer an escape from the intrusion of capital. So, is the US becoming a dystopia? Our climate is collapsing, inequality is at its worst level ever, our politicians are corrupt and in the pocket of massive corporations, millions of Americans are on the brink of eviction, at which point they will be threatened with state violence, tech startups may soon have their own autonomous cities where they will have complete control over the inhabitants, we've got space billboards on the way, and people are lining up to get microchipped by the world's least responsible Twitter troll. I don't think it's a stretch to say that the US is not becoming a dystopia, it already is one. We just don't have the flying cars or cyberpunk aesthetics. So, what can average people do about this? I'm not going to lie, we face some serious problems, including the biggest one humanity has ever faced. But we're never powerless. The best thing you can possibly do is get involved somewhere. Every little bit helps. Want to organize your workplace for better conditions? Join the IWW or another union applicable to your field. Want to build political power? Join an organizing group or a socialist party. Start small. See if there's something you can do to help your neighbors. Look around to see if you can find a local mutual aid effort. Building community resilience is critical to weathering crises. A group of people working together is much stronger than a bunch of isolated strangers. If you like to read, start a reading group. Introduce people to anti-capitalist ideas and help them learn about alternatives. If you're good at graphic design, see if your local...
This channel very socialist? It's giving me socialist vibes.
Union, Socialist Party branch, or DSA chapter.
Fuck it, I fuck with it. Because I don't really give a fuck about what the fuck you believe. I really don't care. I kind of am attracted to the socialist idea because it differs from the norm and it differs from what we already have. And you know I love any challenging idea. I love any opposing idea. I love it and I embrace it. I love a unique, different idea. So I'm biased towards socialism. I'm not a socialist. But like... Also, like, but like, if I was here, like, having a guy just screaming capitalism, it wouldn't be the same, would it? Like, just like, of course, like, it's not bad, but like, no system's perfect. Like, capitalism isn't. I don't know. I'm gonna shut up. I don't even.
Needs help producing posters or flyers. There's always something we can do to lend a hand. It may not seem like much to you, but by working together, we can make a big difference. Take care of yourself, help others where you can, and throw sand in the gears of the machine. If our elected representatives and their corporate overlords continue to make our lives worse at every turn, if they aren't going to fix these massive problems that they've created, we need to do it ourselves. I mentioned at the beginning of this video that this kind of content is made possible by my patrons on Patreon. When I decided to make the shift from general interest stuff to more radical political content, I knew I ran the risk of sinking my channel and losing my ad revenue and sponsors. These days, it's pretty hard to get a sponsor on my...
But I'm glad that you were doing what you love and what you really wanted to do. This is what I seek to do. This is what I hope everybody else does. Like Ellen Watts says, forget the money. If money wasn't a thing, what would you love to do? Well, he wants to make radical political content because I'm pretty sure he's very passionate about politics. I mean, I might get into it, but I can't let him know my next move, right? Because then if people realize how great of a person I am, the people at the top, they might be coming for you, right? So you can't let them know your next move. Shit, right? So, you can't let them know because the people at the top have power. They have money. They have no morals. They only care about themselves, like everybody else, of course. But like when you have that type of money, your morals for some reason I feel like they aren't there a lot. They're moralless people. They don't give a fuck. They look at me and you like pieces of trash. So I mean, shit. If you're out there if you're a threat to them, they'll take you out completely. They'll pay somebody to come kill you. So you can't let them know you can't let them know your next move on that, right? 'Cause these people are fucking. You don't know what the fuck these people are capable of sometimes. Right, like that's the type of crazy ass fucking world we live in. People will kill you to make sure that they can keep their power. Like when you're messing with power, you're messing with something insane, right? So you have to be very strategic about exactly what it is that you're doing. And that's why a lot of people don't step up. That's why no change has been done. But I think we have to have a lot of people that are willing to fight like if they're already dead. Like if they're willing to become martyrs. What if everybody that's not rich became a martyr, right? We're just like, well, we're willing to die for this. So, well, I mean, you can't kill us all. But, I mean, then again, ain't nobody gonna die for it. Like, people have families and shit. They ain't gonna die just for a cause like that. They can say, I'm fine. Right? Like, I'm working my job. I may be working in a cubicle with coworkers that I hate, with a boss that I hate, doing a job that I hate, not doing my passion, not doing what I love. I gave that up a long time ago, and I'm still in debt from college, and I'm working paycheck to paycheck, and I gotta pay my car bills, and I gotta pay my Wi-Fi bill, and I gotta pay my water bill, and then I gotta pay my electricity bill, and then I gotta pay my other bill, and then I gotta pay my Netflix bill, and then I gotta pay my phone bill, and then I gotta pay this bill, and I gotta pay that bill, and it's just like, but they still don't want to die. Like, you still want to live, so we'll take living over dying. So we're not gonna do anything crazy like standing up to people with power, cause, well, you know what that might mean, and I don't know if you're gonna have enough people to stand up, but I know a lot of people are fed up. I mean, you're looking at all of this, right? It's just like it feeds you up. It fed like a revolution might come. I'm scared. I don't know. I'm thinking something might happen. It seems like society might be going towards a direction where something grave might happen. Something insane might happen. Right? Because, I mean, like, it's also a bias of course, you watch videos like these, you only watch the news, you focus only on the shitty stuff, and you think that, well, because all of this is the only thing I'm shown, it seems like everything in the world is crazy. It seems like there's no order anywhere. It seems like everything is chaos. And not everything is chaos, but it's also like, well, there is a lot of chaos. I mean, I don't have data to show you. But some data might show like shit is getting crazier. Right? Like tension and disapproval and of course the wealth gap. I mean, that I don't need a stat to show you. You know that to be true. It's also like, shouts out second thought. I'm thinking about possibly, speaking of doing something outrageous and brave, thinking about stepping on here, watching some videos off Nebula, because I want to, make my subscription worth it. Yeah, I just want to see some good content. I know what's his face, real life lore. Still haven't reacted to him right here, Modern Conflicts. This is actually a Nebula original. So I'm scared that if I do react to this, I might get taken down. I might get taken down because I don't know what this shit is. I don't think I can post these type of videos on this on here on YouTube. Because of course these are Nebula originals, so. Damn, but I kind of do want to react to these. Shit. I fuck with the Modern Conflict series. Anyway, man. Hope you guys enjoyed. Damn, made this too long. I'm sorry. I will catch you guys in the next one. All right, let me know what you guys think. Leave a like if you made it to the end. I don't know why. I'm not going to hold you. I was just speaking just for the sake of speaking at this point. I spoke too much, and I need to get better at that. And I hate when I end the video like that, and I look at the timer, and I'm just like, man, I talk too much. Like, people aren't going to they don't want to sit around for that. And I'm just like, well, then there's another one of my not great videos, because I do want to have, like a standard of type of content that I'm making, and I'm just like, well, nobody wants to sit through that. But I also don't want to just waste a 42-minute video. So what do? It's a conflict. It's just like, do I post or do I not post? But shit, fuck it, I guess. I don't want to say fuck it because I want to release good content. But it's also like, well, maybe somebody might enjoy it, right? Because I mean, what I was saying was true, even if I talk too much. Like, what I was saying was true, and I enjoyed the video, so maybe somebody else could too. They sit around for that type of time. I mean, shit, fuck. Anyway, man. Leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff, man. I hope you guys have a great one. Okay, see ya.